Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles in Connecticut, to the bishops, the teachers, the priests, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom, right? To you Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To you sisters, you Akhwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yahawada with the lesson.
As Washington seeks to bolster defenses following threats from Iran and its allies, Hamas and Hezbollah. Tufts University visiting assistant professor and an Israel Institute fellow, Dr. Alon Burstein, joins us. Alon, as always, good to see you. This is a weekend that you and I are going to be watching very, very closely. What specifically has Iran said about its potential next move so far?
Good to see you, Austin. So we've had a lot of leaks coming out of Iran with regards to how it is going to formulate its response. Iran is responding to the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh that happened in Tehran, and Iran's in a bit of a bind. On the one hand, it needs to retaliate in order to save face. You know, this happened in the Iranian capital. It happened in a hotel that's practically run by the Iranian Revolutionary Guards. And the way this happened was a bomb that was planted in the hotel. It's a huge embarrassment. So Iran needs to retaliate on the one hand. On the other hand, unlike what we saw in April, there was no recognized attack that occurred on quote-unquote Iranian soil like in April was in the consulate in Syria. Instead, this is, an anonymous attack. I mean, pretty obviously the Mossad of Israel did it, but Israel's not taking responsibility. It's not an Iranian even who was killed. So Iran's in a bind of how it retaliates. What we've heard is that, first of all, the supreme leader of Iran, Ali Khamenei, has ordered Iran to retaliate personally, not just to activate the militias, but to retaliate itself. In other words, we're looking at another attack that may resemble what we saw in April, which was the first time in history that Iran actually attacked Israel instead of doing it through proxies. Then we had a leak that came out
to see how and when Iran will retaliate in response to the assassinations of two prominent militants. The Biden administration is continuing its efforts to de-escalate tensions both behind the scenes and in public remarks. Joining me now is Courtney Cubey, who is at her post at the Pentagon. So, Court, let's talk about the very latest. It's been a week since the strikes in Beirut and Lebanon on the militant leaders. What do you make of the fact that we haven't seen any retaliatory strikes yet? Are you anticipating them as the military?
There's still a widespread belief there will be some sort of a retaliatory action here by Iran. But you're right, it's been a week since we saw that assassination of Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran. We have seen many, at this point, public pronouncements from Iranian leaders saying that there will be some sort of a response. But I will say, Kristen, Iran does not always respond immediately. You can look back to 2020. It was when the assassination of a leader in Iraq by the U.S. It was more than a week before Al-Assad Air Base was actually struck with missiles by Iran. You can look back to just April. It was days before Iran responded, firing off about 300 projectiles towards Israel. So it's not super surprising that they haven't responded yet, but we do expect something. The big question is, what could this look like? Everyone is pointing back to April when those projectiles were fired off. You remember, of course, Kristen, most of them were shot down. They were intercepted before they actually landed in Israel. It was a multi-country effort to do that. The question is, will we see something similar this time? And the reality is, we just don't know yet, Kristen.
That leads me to my next question, Court, which is just how much insight does the Pentagon have?
Israel is bracing for Iran's response to the assassinations of Hezbollah and Hamas leaders last week. while the United States is moving military assets into the region to deter Iran and assist Israel in defending against a counter-strike. Intelligence assessments indicate that Iran is preparing to attack Israel from multiple angles using its regional proxies to launch waves of missiles, rockets, and UAVs from Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and possibly Iran itself. But Israel is not.
Do not want this conflict to escalate or spread. We've been very consistent about that from here. We do not want it to spread further into the region.
Hezbollah's leader Hassan Nasrallah today calling on all Arab states to take a stance.
Our response, God willing, will be strong, influential, and effective. Between us and Israel are only a few days and nights till we meet in the battlefield.
And a deadly day along the border. An Israeli air raid in southern Lebanon killed at least 5 Hezbollah.
An anonymous attack when pretty obviously the Mossad of Israel did it, but Israel's not taking responsibility. It's not an Iranian even who was killed, so Iran's in a bind of how it retaliates. What we've heard is that, first of all, the supreme leader of Iran, Ali Khamenei, has ordered Iran to retaliate personally, not just to activate the militias, but to retaliate itself. In other words, we're looking at another attack that may resemble what we saw in April, which was the first time in history that Iran actually attacked Israel instead of doing it through proxies. Then we had a leak that came out of Al Ahbar, which is a Lebanese newspaper affiliated with Hezbollah, that said that within Iran, there's basically 2 responses right now that are being debated. One is to have a coordinated attack from Iran and all of the affiliates. So Iran, Hezbollah, the Houthis, Kataib Hezbollah, the different militias that are in Iraq, all may be launching some sort of coordinated attack. Again, mostly meant to surprise or cause some damage to Israel on the one option. Another option is to have more staggered attacks. To let the retaliation, so to speak, be prolonged. Iran could launch an attack, then maybe we'll see Hezbollah launching an attack, then maybe the Houthis later. Those are the 2 debates that are happening within Iran right now. Iran has vowed they're going to retaliate. How they're going to retaliate is what's being debated right now.
Yeah, so this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 14, right? Put yourselves in array against Babylon. Babylon is America, but the head of Babylon is the Israelis, right? Amalek, the small hatters, are the head of Babylon, right? And here they are getting in trouble themselves, right? And then there's these small normally proxy militaries, right? These affiliates of Iran that's kind of been getting tactical with them, but now they're saying let's go all out tactical, and let's shoot at them all at one time, surround them, and let's see if that Iron Dome will save them. In this case, to see if they can shoot them all down. If they're all coming all at one time, right? Or like the guy said, or it could be stagnant, And it's a lot harder to shoot or concentrate on the thing if they come down stagnant, which this is like in a sense what Apostle Gabar was going to like a omen, right? This situation notes or dictates a situation that's going to happen. Which is going to be greater, which Babylon the Great, which is America. It's not going to be regular missiles, what they're shooting. It's going to be ICBM missiles, right? Hypersonic missiles that come to this place, right? It says all ye that bend the bow, and that's basically what he said. All the the Houthis, the Hamas, the Yemen. All of you shoot missiles at the Israelis, right? So this is dictating the thing. This very verse right here, it's just not. This verse is on a higher scale because we're talking about ICBM missiles, but it's showing you, man, right? All that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows. See. For she have sinned against Yahweh, right? Shout at her round about, and that's basically what that supreme leader is saying. He said, "Look, we're gonna have to make a declare and an action and show these people we mean business. So we may have to all shoot at Israelis at one time, or maybe stagnant. So we let them know that we mean business. That even Iran in itself is gonna shoot. So you're gonna know that we mean business. We're a unified front, right? And then I guess America's showing up saying, "Hey, we got Israel's back," but we haven't even got into Ezekiel 38 when Russia steps in, right? When Gog and Magog, when Gog, the land of Gog, the land of Magog steps up, right? You know, which is Russia, right? So we haven't even got to that part, but yeah, that's what he's saying. Shout at her. That's what he's saying. Hey man, let's just declare. And he got on basically television or whatever he did to put the word out, right? And you actually seen it. So he, it was on television, or it's out there for you to see, right? So basically, he was shouting at her, roundabout, saying, "Hey, let's circle this and shoot at it from different angles." She have given her hand. Her fountains are fallen. Her walls are thrown down, right? For it is the vengeance of Yahweh. So how much longer is that Iron Dome is going to so-called save you, right? Because all this is really ultimately going to be the vengeance of the Lord, of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And the Lord showing you that this is like this is a show of Yahweh's faith, man. I mean, of Yahweh's promise, right? That a reason why you should keep your faith, right? For it is the vengeance of Yahweh. Take vengeance upon her. See, he even take vengeance upon her. As she have done, do unto her. Yeah, so this is Numbers chapter 24 verse 20. Balaam looked at Amalek and took up his fifth discourse, oracle, right? Oracle going into what? Prophecy, right? Right, because he was, Amalek was afraid of Israel coming out of Egypt, right? And they want Balaam to put curses on Israel, but Balaam said that he can't curse what the Lord has blessed, right? But he wanted to do it anyway. So what basically went out is an oracle or a prophecy about Amalek, right? Right. So it says and said, so this prophecy said, oracle said, Amalek was the first of the neighboring nations, right? Because where's Amalek at? Over there, what they call the Middle East, and so many countries send money to them, because they're acting like they're in dire need, and they pretend these things, but they're actually the most wealthiest people on the planet, because so many people send billions and trillions of dollars to Israel, right? And whether they share with all their people or not, that's nor here nor there. But collectively, the richest people are in Israel, right? They give you the Forbes magazine and all that other BS, but that is all false. That's not, it's not accurate. They're not telling you what the Rothschilds, the Bilderbergs, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Oppenheimers, and even these other people that's really in the shadows that we'll never know their name until until the Lord shows us all things, and we'll see what they were really all about. These people who control the sex slave, the organ trading, all these different markets, and slavery. Even today, slavery still goes on to this very day, right? But this is a prophecy against Amalek, right? Amalek was the first of the nation of the neighboring nations, right? Because they're over there in Israel, right? Which would be to oppose the Israelites. See, and ultimately that's what they're here for, right? There's the good guys and the bad guys, and Amalek, right, which is the small hatters that's in the land of Israel right now, right? The Israelis, that is Amalek, and they're here to oppose the real Israelites, right, which are you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. They're here to oppose you after they left Egypt, right, and we're in this modern day Egypt, right, which is spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom, and it's spiritually Babylon, right? What this is. It's called the daughter of Babylon because it has that spirit. See, and they've always wanted to oppose you, but his end shall be destruction. So in this modern day world, they're at the top, right? Which that's another way of saying Esau is the beginning of this world, but the end of it that followeth, right? So this is 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 8. And he said unto me that he is the angel that Ezra was speaking to. From Abraham to Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of Jacob's, was born of him. Who was he born of? Of Isaac. Came out of Isaac's loins, brought forth Jacob and Esau. But Jacob's hand held fast the heel of Esau. So he said he was grabbing on his heel, right? Which is going to tell you the symbolization, right? Which is like a nomen omen. Again, a nomen omen for a situation, a thing that's going to happen in life, right? This is for Esau, right? Which is Amalek, right? The grandson of Esau, right? Which is the chief of Esau or Edom. The chief of Esau, Edom, which is Amalek. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So, being that he's the first of all the nations, first of all the neighboring nations, which that's all the neighbor nations around the world, because everybody's your neighbor, right? That's the way they tell you, right? But it's all these neighboring nations, right? Because all these nations give money to them. America, everybody, Britain, Canada, all these nations have to send money to Israel, right? Right? So while they're getting all this money and all these different things, hey, the Lord is causing things to happen, a conflict, right, to arise in this place, right, in order to bring this to an end. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right, to bring the kingdom of you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians back to the life and the reality that you're Israelites coming from Abraham, Isaac and Jacob. You're the descendant of those people, and not those people who the small hatters who say that they are, but are not. You don't fit the prophecy. They don't fit any of the things that the Bible says. The Bible says once you get into that land, fulfilling prophecy, there will be no more war. There'll be no more sickness. There'll be no more death. But they're in the land. So where's the Lord? Where's all the where's King David? Where's Yahweh Shai? There's a lot of key things that should be happening in the earth right now. Right? A lion should not be eating a gazelle anymore. It should be eating grass like how all the other animals eat grass. That's what the scripture says. When the Israelites get back in that land, your baby gonna be able to go outside and play with a snake. Right? Which is not talking about everybody's baby. It's talking about the Israelite baby. But if you want to put in perspective that all people are are these people, and there's a spiritual Israelite, well, let me see you put your spiritual baby out there and and see if it could go play with a snake, and see if somehow your baby can get delivered from the mouth of a lion. Right? No, that's talking about the Israelites, and that's talking about in the kingdom. Right? When we put on the new body. Right? But yeah, and the hand of a man is betwixt the heel and the hand of the questions Esdras asks does not. So, and the Lord's setting it up, man, between a man and his hand. There's two things that's gonna happen. Well, hey, you're gonna pull them, the other one's gonna go down, the other one's gonna be standing in its place, right? And that's us, the Israelites, who the world ignorantly calls us black or Mexican or Native American or whatever thing that wherever land you're at, that they call you Afro this and Afro that, and which absolutely don't make sense, right? Because that's not a nationality, right? But hey, yeah. So this is Jeremiah chapter 51 and 2 says, and I will send unto Babylon fanners. See, as you can see, these is like little scourges, little things that's gonna happen, right? Because the Lord said that the least of the flock should draw you out, right? So, hold on, let me get that real quick. Yeah, so this is Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 45, and it says, therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that he have taken against Babylon, which is America, the daughter of Babylon, right? Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon, and his purposes that he purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, right? Which is dealing with the witchcraft that America has, having you people under that spell, kind of like what Apostle Paul said, who have bewitched you. A lot of you think you're Gentiles, and you need to be, this the only way you could be saved is because you're a Gentile. No, you're so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, and you're the Israelites, and the only way you could be saved is if the Lord open up your eye, because the Lord is not even dealing with all of Israel right now. All of Israel shall be saved, but right now the Lord ain't trying to save all of Israel right now, right? You'll come back as a baby in the kingdom, but you're gonna die a miserable death right now unless you get this. Unless the Lord said that He wants you to be healed. So you better pray that the Lord wants you to be healed. He wants you to be converted. You have to pray for this conversion, man. The Lord just doesn't give this willy-nilly, like I'm saying, like God loves. Well, if God loves it, why ain't the churches packed? Why ain't they filled? Why? Because God doesn't. When you realize God don't love everybody, and you realize it's a narrow thing, and the Lord can smite you and He can kill you, or He can love you at any time. Now you know that this is a true God. He's this is real, and now you know that it's precious. when the Lord's telling you that only 1/3 is going to make it through the fire, you realize that this is precious. 2/3 of the Lord's own people is going to perish. The Lord said 12,000 out of each tribe. So there's 12 tribes. So it's going to be 12,000, 12,000, 12,000, which is going to make 144,000. You know that there's 8 billion people on the planet? The Lord said he said that the people that's going to be saved, he told the Ezra, the people that's going to be saved is like a drop to a wave. You ever seen a wave? A wave is huge. A wave can go miles and miles and miles, and the Lord said he'll take the drop out of that whole entire wave, and that's what he's going to save. But the wave is going to get destroyed. So when you realize how precious this is, you wouldn't play a fucking silly game that you play, man. Right? This is too precious, right? But you deal with the witchcraft and all this other thing, so you're all bewitched. You know what I mean? Dealing with the Chaldeans, right? Because they were in that witchcraft, and a lot of you fall right victim to that, right? Surely, the least of the flock, right? The least of the flock is Amalek, right? The chief of all the nations right now, because they're running everything. Hollywood, they're running the movie industry, they're running the music. Everything you do when you ride down the freeway, that's the king's highway. That's Amalek's fucking highway. When you ride down the freeway, right? That's why you see the thing with the highway when it has the when it says interstate and you see the blue at the bottom, because blue stands for righteousness, and the red, and it have the red over it, which stands for the Rothschilds, saying that they have the average person down. That you're under them, right? Because Rothschilds goes back to red shields, right? Which goes back to Esau, which your Edom, meaning Idawam, meaning red, right? So it says, so the least of the flock shall draw them out, right? Which is America, and that's what's happening right now. All those countries, all those proxy wars that you had before, and they're starting to. They said Iran saying no, let's just unite and make a united front and basically surround Israel and shoot our missiles at Israel all at one time. So that's like a omen, because that's what's going to happen to this place. That's what the Lord said. Gather all the nations, gather all you round about her, around her, who the her is, of Babylon, which is America, and shoot arrows at her. And the Lord said, spare no arrows, man. Shoot every single missile that's out there. And what Russia has 500 or 600 missiles. So the Lord said he wants them to shoot every 500 nuclear missiles that they have on America. So if you really knew how precious it's going to be for you to be saved, you wouldn't play a game, man. That's how precious it's going to be. And that's just Russia. That's not speaking of the fucking 400 or 300 missiles that China has that's going to get shot on here. And whatever North Korea has. And whatever Iran and all these other places. Right? So this is like a omen, right? So it says, that's going to draw them out, right? Which is America. Surely shall make their habitation desolate with them, right? They're going to be destroyed. All the Edomites are going to be destroyed. Started with Amalek, right? Yeah, basically, yeah, like I was saying, dealing with what a knight will wear, but it goes into, a little bit more than that, like your bulletproof vests, your tanks, your so-called defense system, your anti-nuclear missile system. So they got a lot of this pride. Everybody, even Russia has pride in that. They got that S-400, and I guess it's supposed to have been the best. But a lot of the Lord's finna destroy all you. But starting with Amalek first, right? Amalek and Babylon the Great, which is America, right? Those two, the top two Edomites gotta get out of here, right? First, right? You got to destroy that system. But no, Russia, you're next, and then the rest of all you other kingdoms are next, right? They're gonna be no. It ain't no other kingdom that's gonna rule but Israel. Okay. So it says and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts, right? So it's the same thing as saying spare no arrows, spare no missiles. Don't keep shooting these missiles, keep shooting these arrows. Hey, and that's it, man. Right? Yeah, so this whole thing with Israel and Iran is just a fanner, right? Because it says and sent and says and I will send unto Babylon fanners, and this whole thing is just a fanner. You know, ever see a flame and it's real small and you have to fan it to build up the fire. And that's what the Lord's saying. He's going to allow this whole thing to boil up between Israel and Iran, so the big dogs can get involved, so America and Russia can get involved, just so this place can be destroyed, just so the Lord can wipe out the Edomites, so he can save the elect, man, so he can save the Israelites, man. That's pure love, man. That's pure love, right? Your depiction that you have of the Most High is totally different than what the Most High has in this Bible, because he says, I will send fanners unto Babylon, that the fan that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. What do empty your land mean? Right? For the day of what? Of trouble. Right? What kind of God do you think? God is supposed to be all love, but the Lord said he's going to bring a day of trouble. So what do trouble mean to you? Is that a blessing? They shall be against her round about. So it ain't going to be no God bless America anymore. All these nations are going to be against you round about. Against him that bendeth, let him, against him that bendeth, let the archers bend his bow, against him that lifteth himself up, right, which is Babylon the Great, which is the Edomites, especially the American Edomite. He's the most proudest. He lifts himself up, right, with all that pride, who lift himself up in his brigadine, right, which goes into brigadine. When you looks it up, it's basically like a remember in the Knights, when you look it up, it's like a bunch of chains. The Knights used to wear it, so when underneath the armor, so when if the sword went through, and they try to do like that, it will get twisted up in between the little chain things. Almost like it was like their way of having like a vest, like a bulletproof vest. Is best way. The modern brigadine is a bulletproof vest, right? But back then, the brigadine, when you look up brigadine, it's like a chain link that goes over you like a shirt. It's like a shirt, but it has these little chains through the whole shirt, and it's so if a sword went through, and they went to do like this to twist it to try to, because a lot of time they'll try to put the knife in you and twist it, because that's the best way to kill somebody, right? To put it in you and twist it. But if they did that, it'll hit the armor, and then it'll hit the little chains that's in there, and it'll kind of basically probably won't prevent them from getting cut, but it's protection. So that's kind of what Israel is going through, because Israel has that Iron Dome, and America has their brigadine is the ocean, right? Because that's the reason why they've been the most proud, because every time they fought a fight, they always fought it in the Middle East, and no one ever touched America. But that the Lord's finna change that. They're gonna have hypersonic missiles that can leave Russia or China, and you're talking thousands of miles away, but it'll be here in less than 15 minutes. With a nuclear explosion that'll, man, it's gonna blow your socks off, right? Like they tell you, you know what I mean? Hey, that's what it's all about, man. But they're proud, right? Because they so-called got these so-called weapons, right? Their military technology is supposed to be this and that and this, right? Right? So they're proud. They're lifted up with their brigadines, which is, like I said, is normally it's deal with what a what a knight would wear. With all that, I want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well, to the elder apostles in Connecticut, the bishops, the priests, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom, to you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yahawada with the lesson and a Baba Ball.